Hi there, welcome to the latest episode of my 10-minute moan. The topic in this one are two stories that have just come out about Patrick Harvie. One, he's facing a vote of no confidence, and the other, he's threatened to resign as a co-leader of his party if he doesn't get what he wants. So, before I start, people often ask me how can I support the channel, easiest way, there's loads of ways you can do it, but the easiest way is see the wee thumbs up symbol down here, just click it. That's how quick it takes, it costs you nothing. Does great things for the reach of the channel. So, back to the story. The first one is Patrick Harvie faces a vote of non-confidence over comments on the CAS review on gender identity services. This is where he basically said he didn't believe it was a worthwhile medical and clinical document. Ash Regan, Alba's sole MSP, is hoping to get 25 other members of Holyrood to support a motion which will then go to a vote in Parliament. Patrick Harvie faces a potential vote of no confidence following his comments over the landmark CAS review into gender identity services for young people. I find this very bizarre. That guy that is for a party who were set up about environmental issues is getting himself so het up over something that's not an environmental issue. The Scottish Greens co-leader refused to say whether he accepted the report's conclusion when asked during interviews this week. He was asked 5 times if he accepted the report. The minister refused to stay and instead claimed that it had been politicised and weaponised against trans people. So, Ash Regan has now lodged a motion of no confidence against Harvie. And as I said, it must be supported by at least 25 Holyrood members to allow it to proceed to a vote. Regan, who defected from SNP to Alba last year, said the motion of no confidence speaks for itself. The Scottish Greens wish to side with ideology over clinical evidence. I am hopeful that MSPs will put good governance first ahead of party lines and support the motion. Kind of makes sense, Ash Regan, there, in common sense. The motion creates an awkward position for some SNP MSPs who are known for their gender-critical stance and antipathy to the Greens. Fergus was suspended from the party's Holyrood group for a week after voting for a similar motion to sack Greens co-leader and government minister Lorna Slater, meaning disciplinary action could be taken against those who defy the SNP whip this time around. It's a good point, actually. The motion comes as senior SNP MP backed the power sharing deal between the two parties. So that's story one about our friend Mr. Patrick Harvie. And the second story that popped up this morning, let me just go back to that. Oh, come on. Seem to have lost it on my wee search. Here it's here. Patrick Harvie to quit as Scottish Green co-leader if the party ends its deal with the SNP. Harvie has said he will argue for a cooperation agreement with SNP to continue. Basically what's happening here is the Greens are going to have an extraordinary general meeting where their members will get to vote on whether they should continue with the Bute Agreement, which put the Scottish Greens and him and his pal Slater as ministers of the Scottish Government. Obviously, Patrick gets paid quite a lot of money to be a minister of the Scottish Government, and he wants his party to keep the Bute Agreement and him in turn keep his job. So now what he's threatening is if the party members vote to rip up the Bute Agreement, then he's going to resign as co-leader, which I think is hilarious. So, where are we? So they're going to have a special vote probably within the next 4 weeks. And Harvie's a staunch supporter of the pact, but he told STV he shared the disappointment about the dump targets because they were suggesting that some of the Greens were wanting the Bute House Agreement to be ripped up because the SNP last week removed the target for CO2 emissions in 2030. And what he's arguing is that you're better being in the government to have claims. Now, it was quite funny. I seen a quote from the Greens saying how important it was to be part of government and listed some of the things that they'd managed to get on because of their involvement in government. None of them environmental issues. There was things like rent freezes. So none of the positives that they're saying that have came from them being involved in government since 2021 were for any environmental issues at all, which I think is totally bizarre because the Green Party are meant to be an environmental party. So what he's saying, I've seen fellow MSP Lorna Slater, our co-leaders, and were asked if he would quit if he lost the members' vote. He said, I wouldn't expect to stay on in that role if the party had made a decision like that. But honestly, that's the least important aspect of the question. This is about whether the Scottish Green Party believe it can achieve more for the people of Scotland, for the environment, and for the better, fairer, greener Scotland by staying in government. I believe we can. And then I remind you what I said about 32 seconds ago. None of the things that they claim they've achieved since being in government have got anything to do with the environment for a greener, or anything to do with a greener Scotland. So I'm struggling to understand what the Scottish Greens are anymore. Because by their own words, the benefits of being involved in government have had no benefits to the environment. And they seem to be more hit up about transgender rights, etc., than any other party in Scotland just now, which is pretty weird to me. I'm failing to understand, using common sense and logic, why an environmental party should have members demanding that the Bute House Agreement should be put in the bin because of the Cass report, which was about transgender children. It really does blow my head. I don't know when they stopped being an environmental party. It seemed to me as if it's a charade. It's a show that they're this environmental party, when the reality is they're more interested in giving puberty blockers to children. But because the puberty blocker argument and the SNP binning their CO2 emissions came out in the same day, it seems convenient that some of them can suggest that binning the Bute House Agreement is purely on environmental. However, the reality is that 100 members from their Rainbow Greens, which is our LBGTBQAXYZ group, demanded an extraordinary general meeting to allow the members to vote on the Bute Agreement solely based on the puberty blocker thing. But now we seem to have forgot that, and we're only having this vote because of the CO2 emission target being binned. I find the Greens a particularly weird party. I find what they started off, it's very much like SNP, I suppose, what they started off in life to be and what they've become are two totally different things. And the problem is, they started off as an activist group and they become politicians. When you're an activist, you're generally a volunteer. When you're a politician, you're paid. And I genuinely think that's why there's been such a change with the people at the top and the party in general, that they need to start pandering to remain in power. And that's quite sad. So there we go. Mr. Harvie, busy few weeks coming up for him. As I say, because Ash Regan is calling for a vote of no confidence, which would be fantastic. And Patrick's already now saying that he will quit as a Scottish Green co-leader if he doesn't get his way when his members get to vote whether they should continue with the Bute House Agreement or not. So, all fun and games, and even on a personal level, I find Patrick Harvie quite a very unlikable character. He's just not, it doesn't come across a very nice person at all. And not the type of person we should have running a government. So I hope two things happen. I hope that Ash Regan does get a vote of no confidence in the guy, and Holyrood can decide. And also I hope that the Greens members vote to bin the Bute House Agreement, because he would then no longer be the co-leader of his party, which would be hilarious, because then what do people at him do? Oh, they'll go and work for a some quango about some, I don't know, measuring reindeer farts in Norway or something. You know, he'll go and work on something like that, a charity based on, you know, I don't know, looking into the connection between the length of pubic hair and IQ or some shite like that. That's what he'll end up doing. He'll not be like running a business, because I don't think he's competent enough for that. So anyway, enjoy the video, give it a thumbs up. If you're not already subscribed, please do so. And as I say at the end of all my videos, the most important thing, unless you're Patrick Harvie, Lorna Slater, any of the Scottish Greens that are absolutely lost the plot, everybody else, have a great day. Cheery bye now.